So now we're in the midst of another stressful week in Canada. Not only the transport situation has calmed down, Russia-Ukraine situation, their mind is elsewhere. What do we do with the Russian players in the NHL? What do we do with the Russian athletes worldwide? But tonight I want you to just get your mind off things with a very important podcast. Now, Andrew Lippert has been a good supporter of the channel for quite some time, and he made a request just recently about a very important Q goalie that went on to an NHL career. Now, I'm presenting this podcast as a tribute to Andrew and all the supporters of the channel, and here's why. Without your support, I would not have reached 500,000 hits on the channel this week. Each one of you that has listened to my podcast, made requests, shown support, passed the word around, you're all part of that. That's a very positive thing because this is not a corporate channel. This is not done for money. I make no remuneration for this. This is all the public's benefit. My career covering different hockey teams, different sports teams, entertainment, different stuff. I do it for you guys. So thank you. Now, Andrew wanted me to do something, I think, on a goalie that I think has been overlooked in the history of the Philadelphia Flyers in the 1990s and the Q of the late 80s, early 90s. Now, this guy, very handsome guy, very personable, played for Team Canada, played internationally after a career in the NHL that didn't meet the expectations of certain members of the Philadelphia media. They got on him, but this guy was a quality goalie. Now, Dominic Roussel was kind of unique because not too often somebody gets drafted from the Q and plays 2 more years in the association after his draft year. Now, he was taken 63rd overall in 1988 by the Flyers and spent 2 more years in the Q, toughing it out in probably one of the most anti-goalie major junior leagues in world history. You're a goalie in the Q, you're going to face a lot of rubber, and that's what happened to him in these 3 full seasons. Now, ladies and gentlemen, where do you think he got his start? Of course, like many players in Quebec, he was featured in a night in the Quebec International Pee Wee Hockey Tournament in 1983 with a team from Laval, Quebec. Now, born in Hull, Quebec, beautiful community, Ottawa Hull region, February 22nd, 1970, 6'1", 180, big drink of water. Now, he made the NHL draft in 1988, but he first came to major hockey prominence with the Quebec major AAA squad, the Lake St. Louis Lions. He was 7-12-3 in 87 with a rough 5.10 average. He eventually graduated to the Q with Three Rivers, and with the Draveur in 88, he had 18-25-4. Now, second season with Trois-Rivières, statistic proved out 12-5 with a 4.13 record. Now, Philadelphia saw something in him, and that's why they drafted him. He eventually found his way to Shawinigan that year, 12-10-2 in 25 games. So that year was 24-15, one of the best records in the Q in the late 1980s. But 88, his statistics again, 18-25-4, 5.18. He was scouted for his overall play, not for his statistics. Now, in 1990, he found himself with the Shawinigan Cataracts yet again, 20-14-1 record with a 4.02 average, and 1-1 in the playoffs. Now, in 91, he found himself putting up some really good numbers in the AHL, one of their top rookies with Hershey, 20-14-7 with 3.61 average. Now, 92 was an interesting year for Dominic. He had played the majority of the season in Hershey, but finally got the call up to the big club and put up some decent numbers, 7-8-2 and 17 starts with a 2.6 average. And this was around the time that Ron Hextall was out of town. Now, 93, again, split time with Hershey and Philadelphia, with the Flyers, 13-11-5, with a 3.76 average. Now, there was rumors for the 94 season he was going to be the #1 goalie, and sure enough, that's what happened. 29-20-5, with a 3.34 average, and consistently one of the better goalies in the Flyers division that campaign. However, 95, he was only 11-7 with 19 starts, and he played one conditional start in Hershey. Now, 96 again, it was a kind of a different season, and there was rumors that the Flyers maybe were giving up on him, and that's what happened. He was traded on February 27, 96 to Winnipeg. For Tim Shovelday. Now, we thought it was going to be a good fit in him in Winnipeg, but it was more like a free agent dump, but he eventually only played 7 games with Winnipeg and re-signed with the Flyers for the 96 season, but get this, he never played with the Flyers ever again. 96, he also played with the Hershey Bears with a 4-3 record. 97 with the Philadelphia Phantoms, 18-9-3, 2 shutouts with a 2.66 average. Now, he had said in published reports his goal for the 98 season would be making it back to the NHL, and he decided to hook up with the Canadian national team program. He had 25 victories in 41 games with a 2.24 average and put up some dynamite numbers for Canada international play. He also took time to play for the Star Bulls of Rosheim in the German DEL. Now, 99, a very interesting situation happened. In the 98 campaign, in the off-season, Philadelphia had traded Roussel and Jeff Staples to Nashville for a 7th-round draft pick. But on October 5th, 98, Nashville sent Roussel to Anaheim for Mark Morrow and Chris Mason. And he finally got back to NHL, serving as a backup. Over 3 seasons, he played 18, 20, and 13 games, 4-5-4, 6-5-3, and 2-5-2. And again, very, very consistent backup, or in certain cases, a second backup for the Mighty Ducks. But 01 was his last season with Mighty Ducks. He found his way to Edmonton, where he had a 1-4 record, and the Ducks basically put him on waivers, and Edmonton again got him for the rest of the season to be the backup, and again he was very consistent. Now, after playing 5 games in the Quebec Semi-Pro Hockey League with the La Salle Rapide, a very, very strong senior squad in the Belle Province, he returned to Germany, signing with the Frankfurt Lions before retiring in 2003. Now, the Frankfurt Lions, he put up some decent numbers. In 38 games, he had a 3.01 average with 1 shutout and only 109 goals against. Now, currently, and for the last number of years, he's a private goalie trainer through his company, Success Hockey, Dominic Roussel. Now, Dominic is what you call a combination goalie. He can play stand-up, butterfly style, and a lot of the goalies in the NHL, he was kind of ahead of his time. He had a kind of a Carey Price meets Campbell style with Toronto, and very, very consistent, because when you're in the queue, you're going to face a lot of rubber. It's not that his team was bad in front of him, it's just a very open system. Firework and wagon hockey was prominent. But to my knowledge, ladies and gentlemen, it's not too often that somebody is the major starter for an NHL team and then be sent to the AHL side, and he's the number 1 starter for that squad or close to it. But that Canadian national team program in 98, if you remember, the NHL players were brought in for the Olympics. I think it would have benefited them to have him as their starting goalie for the majority of the Olympics, but it didn't play out that way, because obviously they had their own idea for the starters. But Dominic Roussel again, and I'm going to give you a little bit of details. We're going to talk about his training program a little bit, and it's kind of weird. Now, it talks about like the different ways you can learn goalie programs and stuff like that. But like when he was involved with that, he was dealing with a lot of young players, and including some players I covered in the past, like Nicolas Hebert under the New Brunswick hockey program. Now, Dominic has always been well respected within the media. He's been very good to us over the years. Very straightforward guy. But I still think He would have done better with because the Nordiques were still around. He would have been a perfect backup for the Nordiques. I think he would benefit a lot more playing in Canada, but he seemed to be a fit towards being a solid 30 game a year backup or towards a shared number one. But Dominic, again, very, very good on the angles, very good on the long shots, and the statistics prove it. 205 NHL games, 77, 70, and 23, almost 11,000 minutes played, 7 shutouts, and a solid 3.12 average. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to my knowledge, he played one playoff game for the Flyers in 95, and he made 23 minutes played, saved everything. So you can say he's perfect in his playoff run. But the raw thing, ladies and gentlemen, over his career, this is kind of bizarre. He played 7 games in the playoffs in 91 for Hershey, one game in the playoffs for 95 the Flyers, only 1 game for the Phantoms in the playoffs in 97, and with LaSalle, he lost 4 playoff games in 2002. So we don't really know how good he can be because he never had much of a chance to play for the playoffs because he was never the pure number one or the pure go-to guy. But I was just saying, if he would have been a backup in Montreal, in Toronto, and Quebec, I think it would have been more of a household word. So again, Andrew, thanks a lot for the request, and again, thanks for everybody. Consider this, ladies and gentlemen. When we first started this channel, it was almost an expansion of my print columns, sports file, remote control, screenshots, and my editorial columns through the years. 2 cents worth, thumbs up, thumbs down. And I never thought we'd get 500,000 without corporate support. Now, we may, after we pass so many subscribers, we may decide to have ads here. And again, if you feel that's something you don't want to follow, channel with ads, please let me know. And don't forget, subscribe, comment, requests, whatever. Keep it sane, because there was a couple of people posting that said the Russians should be kicked out of the NHL. I don't think the Russians players should be kicked out because things happen. International disputes, the people in the literally representing their country, like Canadians that are going to the Olympics, they don't fully agree with every province they represent. Like there's people in Quebec that are not separatists. There's people in the Maritimes that are francophone. They feel they're indigenous. They feel their governments don't respect them. But the athletes are pure. The athletes usually most times are not politicians. They're just there for the love of the game. So let's just wait and see attitude. Try not to bring the hammer down against all the Russians. And over the years, I've known the Russians to be on both sides of the fence. And like I said, I'm not an expert on Putin. I'm here to celebrate the athletes that you request or you have followed. I am here to basically put in audio form what maybe you're thinking. Like Andrew said in the thing, I was thinking about Dominic the other day. So if you're thinking of a certain player, if you've never heard a podcast on him by a real journalist, not somebody that's bought and sold, request it. It could be anybody. It could be already there in my search engine. We have over 2,000 podcasts here. And let me tell you, at 7 minutes each, you do the math. That's a lot of things in my head rolling around. See, I do one take here. There's no basic notes because I research, and when I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. Just like my writing. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, the Philadelphia Flyers of the 1990s should have won a Stanley Cup, but factors played against them. Thanks for listening. Bye.